My mentor was Brandon Burton, and I was class in 2009 when we did nutrition and healthy living in Staten.
So for the project, we focused on nutrition. So to begin with, what is nutrition? Nutrition is the process by which living organisms consume food and use it for growth, survival, and replace tissues. And it's also an important field of science, as Dr. Roy said. So we had to look at background information about nutrition. So we saw that over the past 250 years, our diet and nutrition is based on location and climate. And there's a lot of things that affect our nutrition. There's a lot of things that affect our nutrition and causes diseases such as obesity and diabetes, and that's what we focused on so far. The goal of our project was to identify how factors of nutrition and environment relate to the rate of diabetes and obesity in Staten Island. The project as a whole focused on all of the boroughs, but our group specifically focused on Staten Island.
Our hypothesis was that low-income areas had poor nutrition than high-income areas because they couldn't afford most of the things. For example, when we went to Staten Island, it was like we went to a one neighborhood, and they didn't have they only had canned food and like salty food like chips and
They actually
bagged goods.
Yeah, they actually didn't have a supermarket where we went. They only had bodegas, and there was a farmer's market, which was one of the only opportunities for the residents to get nutrition, get healthy food. And they didn't have a supermarket. They only had bodegas and corner stores.
And they only had one farmer's market through all of Staten Island. And the farmer's market is like every Saturday. And it's at the end of Staten Island. So if you live in the beginning, it's hard to get. Like if you live in the other side. When we were doing research, we studied most of we studied Staten Island, and we looked up their demographics and we just searched stuff.
And because at each place we visited, we took notes about basically the demographics and the social economics of the area. So we looked at if there was a library nearby, how green was it, because that's also important, the scenery. We looked at how the people interacted, was there a gym nearby, things of that sort.
Most of the people in Staten Island were Caucasian, 12% were African, and about 8% were Native Indians, and 4% were Asian, 14% were Latin American, and there was 62% people in the labor force and 16 below the poverty line. 78 of the people were high school graduate, and the other 32 had their bachelor's degrees and higher degrees, master's. Yeah.
So that was actually decent for compared to the other boroughs that we looked at. That 78% of people with a high school diploma, it doesn't seem like a really good number, but compared to the other boroughs, that is a reasonable number. We already talked about what obesity, Dr. Roy talked about what obesity was. But if you need to expand, obesity is an excess of body fat and frequent result in significant impairment of health. You can calculate your BMI, and that will tell you if you're obese or not. So I think the number is, if it's above 29, I believe, that means that you're in risk and you in risk for obesity. BMI is your body mass index. It's basically like a ratio sort of between your height, weight, and age. Right.
Out of the 5 boroughs, Staten Island was third in third place in obesity levels, and one of the highest was Bronx, with 24%. After that was Brooklyn, with 21%. Staten Island with 18%, and Queens with 16%, and Manhattan with 13%. Some of the observations in Staten Island was that it was a very residential area. There was a lot of recycling, and it was there was a lot of buses, a few taxis, one train for transportation, and it was just very closed off area. It was mainly like old people, and there was a few parks and gyms. Yeah, it was sanitary.
So when we went to the farmers market, we recorded the foods that we saw and like observations that we made about it. This is just like a chart of some of the things we saw. Like we saw blueberries, and it was $3 or $2 for $5.50. Sweet and red plums, $2 a pound, things of that sort. And we rated it to see like, from a scale of 1 to 10, what we thought of. Like if I can say like personally, some of the food there, it looked really good. So they earned rankings of 9. This is more. And something interesting about that farmers market was that they actually had like a bakery section as well. So it was like homemade. So which is better than to buy like store-bought baking goods.
Yeah, the food there was better than here. It was cleaner. They were very like over here you could find bruises on the fruits. Like over there was very few bruises. It was very sanitary. It was nice. We went to a corner store and basically because we couldn't find the supermarket, so we went to like a deli and a corner store. We found like canned goods. We found 50-cent juices that were really bad for you. There were very little fruits, it was quick food, like canned food.
So that shows the difference between the farmer's market and the only other thing available, a grocery store or a corner store, as opposed to a supermarket. This was the conclusion as a whole, I believe, which was really long as the hypothesis, because the group, as Dr. Ross said, it was about 80 of us, and we came together and made conclusions of things.
Basically, the conclusion is saying that people in low income areas have, low nutrition. The food there is very poor. If you go to Manhattan, you see farmers markets, and you see supermarkets a lot there, and it's expensive. That was the high income area. And yeah.
And basically, we saw that a lot of low-income areas aren't given the same opportunity for health as higher-income areas. When we visited Manhattan, for example, they had a lot of farmers market, a lot of supermarkets, and a lot of choices for healthy foods. But that's in areas Union Square, yes, places like Union Square, but places like Harlem, for example, which is also part of Manhattan. the food. We see a lot of McDonald's, things of that sort. So, and we also saw that in Manhattan, there's a lot of places for like fitness and things of that sort, and that does not exist in the lower income areas. But even though Staten Island ranked third, it shows that they're doing okay, but there's still improvements that can be made. Like, especially to the fact that they don't have a supermarket, which is really important.
Acknowledgements, Brandon Burton, Scott, Anthony, Rami, Dr. Sad, HCS and staff, everyone in the nutrition group, and everyone for listening.